Hello, this is Wes Bridle, and this is another Kingdom Calling Economic Update video. This is my part 2 on gold and silver, and I'm going to make this one shorter than the last one. Hopefully you saw that one because there's some really exciting numbers in there that should give you an idea of what is going on and what's going to happen in the silver market. And this one I'm just going to continue going on, but probably won't be as heavy on the numbers. Again, if you haven't seen the Coming Storm video, you really need to see that because these are just details of what's going on. That's the big picture. You can watch that video for free by the link that's near this video. And that being said, I'm just going to jump into it. Industrial uses for silver expected to rise 36% over the next 4 years. So new silver is hard to come by, yet demand for silver by industrial uses. My last video I talked more about, or at least I implied or inferred more, that silver is going to be gobbled up by investors. But just looking at industrial users, they're expecting silver usage to increase 36% over the next 4 years. 350 million ounces of silver are traded on the COMEX each day, but only 900 million ounces are mined in a whole year. It gives you an idea. Obviously they recycle the same paper again and again, but it's a strong indication that there's way more paper traded than there is actual metal. Make sure you own real metal. And there's ways to own it where you never actually see the metal yourself. There's a lot of different ways to own it, and it's actually smart to own it in multiple different ways. It's one of the things we talk to our clients about. But make sure you own it in the right way, because there's going to be a lot of people that find out they don't really own what they thought they owned. Okay, I covered that. Mexico just bought 93 tons of gold a couple months ago. They usually just own U.S. Treasuries. They're our neighbor. Financially, they've always kind of looked up to us because they've been a basket case, and we supposedly had our act together. We have had our act together at some points. I say we because I was born in America, but I'm certainly not there making decisions. But now they realize what we're doing is foolish, and they're out buying a lot of gold, as are a lot of countries these days. A lot of central banks are realizing, wait a minute, it is foolish for us to own all these U.S. Treasuries. These things are going to be worthless. We want to own something real. I think this video is going to be real short because I think off the cuff I covered a lot of these things in the first video. 12 states are discussing or have implemented a new law making gold or silver coins official currency. This is not really a big deal. It's mostly symbolic because, for instance, Utah put the law in place first, and they said gold eagles and silver eagles are official currency. Well, they already are by federal law, so it's not really groundbreaking there. But it is a good first step, a symbolic step that they're saying, hey, we're talking about real money, and there's 12 states working on that right now. Standard Chartered studied gold supplies and determined that without new demand, gold prices will hit $5,000 an ounce because of lack of supply. So I mostly spend my time talking about demand, that the more people realize that their money isn't worth anything, because reality shows them that, the more they're going to demand gold and prices are going to shoot up. These people did research on it, and they weren't even looking at that. They just looked at how much gold is being mined today and how much is being used. Central banks are now buying it. For decades they were sellers, now they're buyers. And they said gold's going to have to hit $5,000 an ounce just for that reason. The U.S. Mint is on track to have another record-breaking years in selling gold eagles and silver eagles. Gold's about to be, well, there's talk of this, and it's pretty interesting. Gold right now in the banking system, the Basel banking system, is considered a tier 3 asset. That means it's a very low level asset for a bank to hold. So banks aren't very interested in holding it because they can't, it just doesn't count as much of a reserve asset for them on their books according to these Basel Accords. But there's more and more talk going on that it should be moved to a tier 1 reserve asset, and if that happens, gold prices will go through the roof because banks will want to hold it. They already surely see that it's more stable than a lot of the junk that they hold, but because of their regulators right now they can't hold very much. But if that's changed, that would really drive gold through the roof. Belgium admits 41% of central bank gold is lent out. This leads to paper manipulation, and this leads to a lot more paper gold than real gold, and they've just admitted it. The Federal Reserve has admitted it before, kind of accidentally, but now they kind of deny it. It's pretty obvious that it's going on. They won't let anyone kind of look at their books to know. An interesting thing, just it's not on my notes, but it's occurring to me, talking about gold being a tier 1 asset. James Rickards, in an interview, a couple different interviews I saw of him recently, talks about the fact that he believes, although for years, most of my financial life, the Federal Reserve and Western central banks wanted to suppress the price of gold, that today they want an orderly rise in the price of gold. The reason for that being, most countries in the world want their currency to be weaker. The problem is when every country wants that, that's why they're printing all this paper, and but when they're all doing that, they can't get weaker against each other because they're all trying to do the same thing. But they can get weaker against gold. And so we saw in 1933, 34, we saw FDR did this to the U.S., and Nixon took us off the gold standard. He did the same thing. So a couple times in U.S. history, U.S. politicians have decided to revalue or devalue the United States dollar against gold, and Rickards thinks that they're trying to do that now. Now he says they don't want the price to explode upwards, so they want it to be orderly, but they very much do want it to happen. So it's an interesting thing, and that would make sense why they would allow gold to be a tier 1 asset if that is something they want to see happen. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to jump into the next videos. I'm going to just talk on some government ineptitude that's going on and how that affects you. Again, if you haven't seen the Coming Storm video, I highly recommend you watch that. I hope you've enjoyed this, and God bless you.